All right, so welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, which means to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. So you guys probably know the news in Ring Magazine news that they want to make, or they come in agreement between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, set for this year in September. Again, this will be for Canelo's, at least for now, right? Canelo's 3 belts, excluding the IBF. But Terence Crawford's going to be going up to 168 pounds. I guess some could say similar to when Sugar Ray Leonard went to fight the light heavyweight champion in Donnie Lalonde, which I believe was a catch weight at 167 pounds. But whatever, that's just a method in which they can sell this fight kind of with those similarities. And the reason I mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard is because Sugar Ray Leonard, a 5-division champion after that win, at light heavyweight against Lalonde. Some could say that Crawford is another, American star in comparison to a Sugar Ray Leonard. So I guess the question would be, is Terence Crawford as good as a Sugar Ray Leonard, moving up in weight, having that type of speed? I would say yes, but the difference is that, Lalonde is no Canelo Alvarez. So with that being said, it should be a good competitive fight at least. Me personally, I think this fight is going to be very similar to the Jermell Charlo fight in that, I said this before, that Canelo is an intelligent, he's a good man. He's a father of, I believe, almost 8 kids, if I'm not mistaken. He has like 8 kids, or let's say 6 kids. Sorry if I don't know the actual number, but he is a family man, so he might not risk it all, as some say he will. They're saying that Crawford's going to go out on his shield, in which, Jermell Charlo didn't do. But I think that's going to be, that's not going to be the case. I don't know. I'm not saying that Jermell Charlo is also going to go out like an Amir Khan did when he fought Canelo Alvarez at 155 pounds. Of course, that's not the same Canelo as today. Canelo is not going to be drained to make 155 pounds. So these are very important details and attributes that you guys need to realize when you're bringing up Amir Khan. But I have a real flip side to all this, because I think there's a big fight that's coming up, right? It's on February 20th or the 22nd. Oh, man, sorry if I don't recall. So sorry with these irresponsible facts on the dates. But on the card of Beterbiev defending his undisputed belts with Bivol in this rematch, we do have Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov. So that's going to be a really good fight. I'm actually picking Virgil Ortiz to upset industry and a lot of fans, in that I think Virgil Ortiz is actually going to stop Madrimov in the later rounds, all right, by stoppage. And so with that, that's going to have like a ripple effect. That's going to throw a wrench in the whole narrative in the Canelo versus Crawford fight. And the reason is because it makes things a lot awkward, right? So we know that Virgil Ortiz and Madrimov, it's under a Turkey Al-Sheikh card, right? This whole Riyadh season thing. Now, Riyadh season, they're the owners of Ring Magazine, right? And Ring Magazine are the ones that are marketing and promoting the whole Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. But the reason I'm saying it's awkward is because should Virgil Ortiz beat Madrimov, then it's kind of like, all right, well, why is Canelo fighting Terence Crawford, in which Crawford couldn't stop Madrimov, but Virgil Ortiz did. So that's one, I guess what we call a monkey wrench in this fight, because then it even puts pressure on Canelo Alvarez. Like, why is he fighting Terence Crawford when Virgil Ortiz stopped Madrimov? In other words, fans might want, even Turkey and the Sheik, maybe even Ring Magazine. I don't know how they're going to spin a whole new theme narrative as far as having Terence Crawford should really be fighting Virgil Ortiz if Virgil Ortiz does stop Madrimov. So just keep that in mind, that it puts a lot of awkwardness in the whole Canelo versus Crawford fight. And that's probably the reason why Canelo versus Crawford isn't official just yet. I'm thinking industry, Ring Magazine, they're waiting for the outcome of Virgil Ortiz and Madrimov, because, they're still, 2 weeks away. They might delay the fight between Canelo and Crawford, We know that Oscar De La Hoya sold Ring Magazine to Turkey Al Sheikh, and Oscar might have some influence on Turkey in saying, "Hey, why do you want to still make Canelo versus Crawford when my guy Virgil Ortiz stopped Madrimov?" It could be the case, and Turkey might, it might ring a bell to him and say, "Oh, you know what? Oscar does have a point. I should really be making Ortiz versus Madrimov. I mean, Ortiz versus Terence Crawford." I think Terence Crawford is in a win-win situation because, he's the one that's been asking for the Canelo fight. It's a nice retirement go-out fight, if you will. Some are picking Terence Crawford to actually beat Canelo Alvarez. But again, I've said this before. As far as the reach game, hey, Canelo has seen that reach with Jacobs, with Kovalev. One could even say Triple G. He's seen the speed and bigger torso with the Dimitri Bivol. Okay, so I think all those experiences and circumstances of the experience that Canelo has fighting these bigger guys is going to neutralize any threat that Crawford brings to a whole, upsetting Canelo Alvarez. I just don't see Crawford, moving up in weight. We know that when Sugar Ray Leonard went up to fight Lalonde, or even like Hearns afterwards, right? I believe he fought Hearns also at cruiserweight, if I'm not mistaken, or was it light heavyweight? I don't recall. Sorry about that. But the yo-yo weights. Sugar Ray Leonard was doing it in his even post career. He obviously lost against Camacho, but even I think when he lost Camacho was at like middleweight or super middleweight. Sorry again if I don't recall. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that when Sugar Ray Leonard went up in weight, he wasn't the fast Sugar Ray Leonard that we saw him at 147 pounds welterweight when he fought, classics like Roberto Duran. So just keep that in mind that that with all those circumstances, you're going to get opposing forces not wanting the Canelo versus Crawford fight should Virgil Ortiz beat Madrimov. Okay, because think about it. There's a lot of fans, I want to say diehard Crawford fans, or just to say optimists, in thinking that if Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez, but then they might see, oh man, wait a minute, we weren't expecting Virgil Ortiz to stop Madrimov, and that might put a halt on that hope or optimism that Crawford can upset Canelo Alvarez. So just keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that that Virgil Ortiz can throw a monkey wrench on the Canelo versus Crawford expectation come September later this year? I think so. It may even pose a new narrative in that Canelo should actually face Virgil Ortiz, right? Because think about it. Crawford made his debut at 154 against Madrimov. Madrimov again is at 154. Ortiz is at 154. So it's like, if anything, Canelo should be fighting I guess the real power punchers at 154, and it's probably debatable if Crawford is really a legit power puncher at 154. We know Jermell Charlo was a legit power puncher at 154, and we saw what happened when Jermell Charlo, who's bigger than Crawford, when he went up in weight at 168 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed champion at the time. So that's what I have as far as Virgil Ortiz throwing a monkey wrench for Canelo versus Crawford. Let me know if you guys agree, if you guys assess the same thing. Do you still want Canelo versus Crawford even if Ortiz does knock out Madrimov? So, and I apologize if I'm excluding Madrimov for a win. I just think that the punch output, the CompuBox that Ortiz had with Boachuk was a lot better risk taking and more activity than what we saw with Crawford and the Madrimov fight. It was literally by a factor of 3 of more activity and more punches thrown when you were comparing those 154 fights. So that's what I have, and maybe on the next one I'll talk about what we see with Canelo in the May fight, right? Because that hasn't been announced yet. Some are having rumors that he might fight Jake Paul, which I believe is fake news. I think they're just throwing that out because now Canelo versus Crawford was mentioned, so they want to kind of like discredit Canelo Alvarez's 2025 run so far. So anyways, that's what I have for this one. For another one on Al Cuerpo Boxing, which means to the body. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.